Okay, so in this video you are going to learn how to create a code or a script which can calculate for the resultant of a force and also determine what its direction from the positive x-axis in the counterclockwise direction. Okay, so let's go ahead. So first of all, I'm going to write my comments, okay, so that to help us understand the code when we come back to it. So I'm going to say that x let x be the horizontal value, and let me make it force. Okay, so let x be the horizontal force, and then we should let y be the vertical force. Okay, then we are going to make r the resultant, so let r be the resultant force. So now you have to assign a variable for the direction also. Okay, so I'm going to say that let a be the direction of the force. Okay, so all these are comments. Okay, so you can choose to include it in your code or you can choose to ignore it, but I would advise that you include comments in your code because it's very helpful. Okay, so from there let's go and assign our variables. Okay, and in this case we need input from the user, so our input or our variables are going to be in the form that what asks for input from what user. So let's look at that. So the x variable is equal to what input. So this means that what the code should take input from users before it runs it. So after writing the input and then you bring your apostrophe, then you can write what you want the user to do. Okay, so you can say enter the x value, okay, which is the horizontal force. Then bring your apostrophe, close the bracket. Then you see that y down to you need input from the user. Okay, so y equals what input, and then we see that what the user should enter the y value. Okay, all right, then from there let's assign a variable for the resultant force. So that's r equals what the square root of x squared plus y squared. Okay, so from then we can write what our if statement and the conditions. Okay, so we see that what if, so for the first quadrant, x is what greater than 0 and then y is also what, sorry, x is positive. Let's say x is positive and then y is also what positive. That's in the first quadrant. So you see that what x is greater than or equal to what 0, and then y is also what greater than or equal to what 0. So if that's the case, then our angle or the direction should be equal to what a tan, which is the tan inverse of what y over what x. Okay, so if this condition is not satisfied, or if the values that were entered were both not positive, then we see what else if x is what less than what 0. In the second quadrant x is less than 0, so if x is less than 0 and then y is what greater than or equal to what 0, then what will be the angle be? So the angle will be equal to what 90 plus a tan. Okay, a tan of what x over y. Okay. Else, if this was not satisfied, then else if x is what less than 0, that's the third quadrant, x is negative and then y is also what negative. So is less than 0 and then y is also less than 0. Then the angle should be equal to what 180 plus what the tan inverse of y over x. That's y over x. If all these conditions are not satisfied, then else the angle will probably be equal to 270 plus 8 tan. That's the tan inverse of what x over what y. Okay, then after that you end the if statement. Okay, so here is it now. So from here, what you have to do next is that you have to name and then save our script. So I'll go to the file option here, then I'll go to what save file. So from here, let's give the file a name. Okay, so let's give it a name. So I'm going to use force system. I'm naming it as force system 2. Okay, so that's the name of what my script. Okay, so after naming it, you can copy it. Okay, you can just copy the name. Okay, so I've named it. So what I'll do next is that I'll go to my command window and then type in the name of what my script. But I copied it already, so I don't have to type it. So I just have to what paste. So after pasting, you just what press enter to run what your code. Okay, so now I have what enter the x value here. So my x value is 45. So let's see for the y value, let's say 78. So now you have what our resultant and then the direction of the force also. So you can try this again by rerunning your code again. Then you should enter the x value, let's say minus 80, and then y is also what minus 70. So it has given us what the resultant and also what the direction.